Before we get onto this Q&A, we just want to lay the plate for you guys of what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks of our channel, specifically related to WrestleMania and these Q&As. In this Q&A, we're going to be answering all the current WrestleMania 30 questions that we asked for before. If you have any general WrestleMania questions, they're going to be answered next week in our general WrestleMania Q&A. And on Friday, of course, me and MJ are going to be doing a preview for WrestleMania, and on Sunday will be the WrestleMania preview. So that's that. There's also one other thing. If you ask any questions from this point onwards, they will be added to our normal Q&A schedule. So if you're sitting there thinking, I've got a WrestleMania question, I just want to ask it at the last minute, we're recording them both at the same time, so they won't be able to get on that Q&A, but they will, of course, be answered in a later normal Q&A. We do still need questions for that, as a majority of our questions are being put on the WrestleMania, because we got inundated with WrestleMania questions.
So all I'm going to say, people, is that the British Fist love answering your questions. It's our most entertaining video of the week. So please continue to send in questions, send in a load. But for now, sit back, because you're going to hear all our thoughts before the predictions video about WrestleMania 30.
To be honest, this may as well be a prediction video, because a lot of questions here are like, what do you think about this match? So we may end up giving you a little spoiler preview of our preview video. Yes, right, a preview to a preview. You got that, only here on the British Fist. Let's go with the first question. The 299. With all the sucking wind, looking ring rusty, and getting booed, do you think Vince has any regrets about putting Batista in the WrestleMania main event? You know, he's had him win the Royal Rumble for a reason. I don't really think he has any regrets. I mean, obviously the guy is a draw in some way, and he's the kind of guy, if you brought him in, you're not going to put him mid-card, are you? Let's face it. You're not going to have him open the show. He's the kind of guy you want to bring back. If he's going to win the Royal Rumble, he's going to be in the main event. So I don't think Vince has any regrets, because at the end of the day, if the whole story is to put Daniel Bryan over now, what better way of doing it than having maybe beat Triple H, Orton, and Batista on the same night? So, you know, you're maybe not making Batista into this massive star, but you're also using Batista to make someone potentially different into a bigger star.
When I look at Batista, yes, that he came in and maybe the original idea was meant to be a face ready for Orton, but the plans didn't quite go to plan, so the WWE used their creative booking and made something work. So Vince being disappointed with Batista's reaction and how he is now, I'd say at first maybe he was in a bit of panic and worry, but in the end, I feel that Vince is happy with how things have turned out now.
Yeah, I mean, they've worked around it quite well. Don't be surprised if Batista wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There's a reason why he won the Royal Rumble, and he's a member of the Breakfast Club. American a la carte. Trips versus Bryan. If Triple H comes out like he did at WrestleMania 20 with Throne and Crown when Bryan comes out normally, is that a burial? No. It would just make Daniel Bryan look that much better, because, you know, he beat Triple H and he had to bring out all the stops in his entrance like he usually does.
I feel that the reaction here, because of course Triple H is going to pull out as much as he can the entrance during the match to look overpowering compared to Daniel Bryan. I don't see Daniel Bryan getting buried from this. I feel this is a big thing coming from Daniel Bryan.
This whole WrestleMania card could potentially be built around Daniel Bryan, so how on earth he could be buried by this? I mean, even if he loses to Triple H, he won't necessarily be buried, in my opinion. Wouldn't it be cool, though, if Daniel Bryan came out with the Yes Movement guys, like from the Occupy Raw segment? Wouldn't that be cool? And they surrounded the ring, and then it became a lumberjack match. WWE and TNA talk. What do you think of Undertaker's return to WWE and feud with Lesnar for WrestleMania 30? Has it, in my opinion, I mean, the match itself sells. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker with the streak on the line. Who else to break the streak other than the legit UFC fighter and Brock Lesnar? But it's kind of, the build hasn't exactly been great. I mean, the selling point is the match and the names in there. The build has just been a bit in my opinion.
WWE, okay. I've said this once, I'm going to say it again. You're running out of ways to make the WrestleMania matches for The Undertaker feel big now following the end of an era match. Now it's going to be about name power, matches we've not seen. And when it comes to Brock, who has a stupid contract, I've said that multiple times. You've got Taker, who of course needs his rest ready for WrestleMania, even though he was active at the beginning of the year. But I'm disappointed in this. It's a match that I feel should have happened years ago. I feel this match is out of place. Brock was hot before that mistake at WrestleMania, and Taker was hot because he was more active. So at the minute, I'm wanting to see the match, but not excited about it.
Not big time excited, like let's say, for example, Taker versus Punk or something like that. Thunder Night 19. Do you think there's a chance that Randy Orton versus Batista at WrestleMania 30 will be worse than Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg from WrestleMania 20? Well, that match won't be happening anymore. And also, that match on Raw, was that any good? I didn't watch Raw, so was the match they had any good on Raw?
Daniel Bryan had to come in and save it because, to be honest, it was all about them ripping each other apart. But come to this WrestleMania, adding Daniel Bryan, I think that's going to be the saviour, especially to have two heels who both get the similar reaction to each other, are thrown over facing.
They had to throw Daniel Bryan in. Imagine if Randy Orton and Batista went out in the WrestleMania 30 main event. They would stink the joint up. Probably not as bad as Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg because that had a lot of build and it was really, there was two big names, the undefeated Brock Lesnar, the undefeated Goldberg kind of thing going along around it, and it stunk the joint up because they didn't touch each other for 10 minutes. So no, I don't think it would have been as bad. I think them two can put on a decent match. It just would have been booed out of the building. Does the WrestleMania 30 card seem like another WrestleMania 2000 by having too many multi-superstar matches? To a degree, I kind of think it's WrestleMania 2000, I think, only had one singles match, and that was the women's match. But at least on this card, you've got Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Cena versus Bray Wyatt. You've got, other matches. You've got three big matches that are singles matches.
My problem with this WrestleMania is not really the multi-man. It's none of the matches are stipulations. They're just what the match is. It's not like a casket match for Undertaker and Brock. There's no street fight for Cena and Bray. It's just these matches we're getting. Not saying they're not going to be entertaining, but I don't think the multi-man takes anything away from what we're going to be getting.
I think sometimes the singles match, they don't necessarily need a stipulation because you'll have one going into Extreme Rules anyway, and generally the matches are better there. So, no, I don't compare it to WrestleMania 2000 at all. I think it's a good thing they've got a lot of multi-man matches. You get everyone on the card and everyone gets a payday. That's good for the wrestlers. Abdullah Shakar. Which match is going to be the main event of WrestleMania 30? Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Batista versus Randy Orton, or maybe John Cena versus Bray Wyatt? Well, this would have been asked before the main event was actually made a triple threat. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H was never going to main event. I'm sorry. The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, maybe could have main evented, but I don't think it would. The main event would definitely have been Batista versus Orton, in my opinion, and it will definitely be the main event now. It's going to be a triple threat match.
To be honest, even though I'm going to disagree with that. Yes, you would want the championship to be the main event, but if the WWE knew that two heels going against each other was going to equal a bad reaction at the end of their pay-per-view, I feel to make sense. And plus, the Royal Rumble winner has not always main evented WrestleMania. I feel they would put Daniel Bryan Triple H there because the reaction of Bryan beating Triple H in the main event.
I still think there's more of a chance that Undertaker and Brock Lesnar would have main evented. I really do. I think the street. I admit the Daniel Bryan storyline has been very good, but is it the kind of match I'd want to really focus my WrestleMania around and have that as a main draw? Probably not. I'd prefer to have the streak there. It's just more. It's just more of a cert in my opinion.
The match that's been built up the most is the Triple H Daniel Bryan, so it would have made sense in my opinion to have it at the main event. My backhand to Brock and Taker is that I do believe that it should become a main event match because it leaves doubt. Why is Undertaker getting the main event slot now?
Especially if he was going into the Hall of Fame as well.
That's another thing. But I feel this match, their match, as we've said earlier, has not had a build that every member of the crowd is going to care about.
It's not worthy of a main event, is it? The build.
It.
The name power is, but the build hasn't been. The 299.
Hello.
Do you think Bryan being put in the title match was a last minute thing or planned for a few months? Oh, yes, it was definitely a last minute thing in my opinion. If Bryan being added to the triple threat was a last minute thing and he wins, do you think Batista would have been pissed off knowing that he was to win the belt? We'll answer the first question first. It was definitely a last minute thing. You could tell. They brought Batista back as a babyface. The whole idea was going to be Batista win the Royal Rumble, go on and defeat probably Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And then the reactions happened, and as soon as those reactions happened, you knew Daniel Bryan was probably going to be put in there, especially after CM Punk walked out.
I feel the big match going to WrestleMania was Daniel Bryan getting his revenge on Triple H. The championship would have been the next story following WrestleMania. So at first, I think the set was Triple H, Daniel Bryan, Batista as a face versus heel Orton, and that was going to be it.
Well, the original plan, from what I was led to believe, was supposed to be CM Punk versus Triple H, and Daniel Bryan was going to be nowhere near the main event. He was going to face Sheamus. Apparently, that was the original WrestleMania plan. And things have really changed for the better, in my opinion. And do you think Batista would be pissed off knowing he was to win the belt? Not really, because at the end of the day, I still think that he's in a big spot on the card. He'll be #1 heel in the company, in my opinion. He may still win the belt. There's no certainty that Daniel Bryan will win the belt, even though it does make a ton of sense. But I don't think Batista would necessarily be pissed off because he would have been responsible for making a new star, and he's still making a decent amount of money. He's only going to be there for 2 years anyway.
I'm sadly going to disagree because I think with Batista right now, I feel the fact that he got a bad reaction when he returned, the fact that he would have been taken out by someone who wasn't originally meant to be in his match, I feel Batista, being the way he is now, and his ego probably going to be coming back by the time he leaves. I feel he would have been pissed off with Vince McMahon thinking, why are you giving my moment, my match, my win to Daniel Bryan?
To which Vince would say, well, sorry, Dave, plans change sometimes. 5 Knockley. What do you think about the idea of having Bryan win the title at Mania, have a good 4 to 5 month title reign, and then drop it to a fully promoted Roman Reigns? It would be too early for Roman Reigns. I really think this year needs to be the year of Daniel Bryan. I really do. I wouldn't have Roman Reigns win the belt just yet. I really wouldn't.
Even though you said it's too early for Roman Reigns, 5 months from now, I feel the fact that he's facing John Cena at WrestleMania, I feel to have, yes, you have to really like the feud, but the fact he's against John Cena, the next step up from John Cena would be the championship, is Bray Wyatt.
And they'd have history, so it would make for a decent SummerSlam match, in my opinion. Could even be main event. Lee Blade 09. Thoughts of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? It's a good way of getting 30 people on a card. I mean, it's not exactly going to be a spotlight match, but then again, was the gimmick Battle Royal for WrestleMania 17? It's just one of those matches that is getting a lot of guys out there on the card, getting them a payday, and getting a big rub for someone and relating it to Andre the Giant, who's essentially a big part of WrestleMania history. I mean, it's not exactly the greatest way they could have done it, but it's still a good way of doing it.
My backhand to this Battle Royal is you've got some wrestlers in here who would have been better in other matches. The Road Brothers could have been in the tag title match. You've got the Intercontinental Champion who could be defending it. So there's a few things to question, and with the thought of Big Show winning, when you've got all these other new wrestlers in there, there's some slight doubt about this match, but with the names that's going in, with at this current point, 3 surprise entries about to go in, I feel that it's got its chance to at least entertain us.
At least it's not going to be on the pre-show. Thank God. The tag title match will be on the pre-show instead. Adam Kalela. Do you think having an NXT match for the WrestleMania pre-show would be a good idea? Maybe Zayn and Neville. I mean, it's going to be 2 hours, the pre-show, so maybe one match may not hurt, but I would probably not. I prefer just to keep it on the WWE Network and have them just work NXT matches on NXT. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but it's not. I personally wouldn't do it.
The WWE, I think if they're going to make NXT feel like a big deal, I think they should somehow, somewhere, get their proper, where they know many fans are going to be watching. So if they've got a pre-show match, or at least a match, one pay-per-view a year within the WWE roster, I feel that it would definitely give the NXT main eventers, or whatever match is being booked on that pay-per-view, spotlight, something special for the NXT show.
John Harris. Will Bryan win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title at WrestleMania? It's a good question. I mean, from a logical standpoint, you'd imagine it would make fucking perfect sense for Daniel Bryan to win. But I just have this feeling, Breakfast Club rules, as the Schleg Daddy would say, I just have this feeling that Vince McMahon brought back Batista to win the Royal Rumble, and he's going to have him walk out of the championship, and it's going to be another obstacle for Daniel Bryan to overcome. That's a possibility. But I mean, I think from a logical standpoint, Daniel Bryan should win the belt and put a big blow-off onto this storyline, which has essentially been going, between Daniel Bryan and Triple H screwing him out of title matches, etc. since SummerSlam. It would be a good blow-off to this, which has been lasting well over 6 months now. I do wonder if WWE will actually go there, though. I think it would make sense from a logical standpoint, but I am kind of skeptical.
So you're going with Batista?
I think, well, do you want to have a bet on it?
I'm going to go with Batista too. The reason I'm saying Batista is because, number one, Daniel Bryan would have gone through Triple H. He would have gone through all of his obstacles.
He would look like a big star.
So true, he beats Triple H. Triple H, I can't see him thinking, right, Daniel Bryan beat me. Now he's about to go into the match that I don't want him in, or secretly don't want him in. I think Triple H is probably going to get involved in the main event somehow too. And you want Daniel Bryan to overcome all these odds. It would be brilliant for Daniel Bryan, but he does not have to win both matches to be counted as over. His WWE World Heavyweight Championship feud will be after Mania, because we all know he's going to get there soon.
I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, like I said, a lot of Daniel Bryan fans would love to see him win at WrestleMania. If he loses in the main event, I imagine a lot of Daniel Bryan supporters will probably be, well, this Mania sucks because Daniel Bryan didn't win the main event. I'm not subscribing to the WWE Network, even though I got a 6-month commitment or something. But, you know, I don't know. I still think Batista's going to walk out with the championship. But if Bryan wins the championship, I'll be very happy. And he would have beaten Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton on the same night, which is the equivalent, in my opinion, of Chris Jericho beating Stone Cold and The Rock on the same night.
I'd say congratulations to Daniel Bryan if the WWE book it, but my thing is, Daniel Bryan would have overcome so much obstacles that have been thrown at him at WrestleMania. It's depending on how both matches finish that makes fans like us who actually look at the matches and the outcome to make us believe in it.
And with Daniel Bryan, here's the thing, it's like, is it the thrill of the chase that's making people like Daniel Bryan a lot? Or when he wins the belt, are they still going to be as hot for Daniel Bryan as they were? In my opinion, like Daniel Bryan is one of those guys where the thrill of the chase is where, you know, do you know what I mean? Like going after the belt, overcoming the obstacles. Then when he gets there, it kind of goes like that, and then he wins it, and then it kind of goes down. SummerSlam, maybe loses the belt again.
Sadly, it's been shown that could be the way it is, because his last title runs have been short, not really the big blockbuster thing.
Well, that was before he became a main eventer, I will say.
Sheamus was the first, and then the other run.
Yeah.
I think this time, yes, he would have gone through bigger names, but I feel the excitement that's made the storyline so great is everything he's had to overcome.
Yeah.
Once he's overcome it, then...
What is that?
Yeah, that's the thought with Daniel Bryan.
Yep. It's a thought which Daniel Bryan fans, you should definitely take on board. Sometimes it's the thrill of the chase. All I'm saying. Renegade Man 83. If Batista were to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30, when do you think it's the right time for him to job to Daniel Bryan? I'd say SummerSlam, possibly, maybe.
The big question is, yes, they'll probably save a match like this for next year's WrestleMania, maybe, but Brock Lesnar was meant to be going after the championship. But for Batista to come champion and the job to Daniel Bryan, if it's not going to be Batista and Lesnar, whatever they're doing with Lesnar next, I'd say SummerSlam would be able to give Batista a long run. Looks like he's unbeatable as the top heel, and Bryan to get his shot and championship at the next big pay-per-view.
You raise an interesting point, MJ. Brock Lesnar is the #1 contender, like they said. When is he going to get his shot? You know, Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan may be quite an intriguing main event WWE Championship match. It might be. Or sorry, WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Both the belts. RFV089. There's going to be a lot of Daniel Bryan questions on there, you know that. But we got a Shield question. Would the Shield benefit from facing and beating the New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania? The reason I'm saying this is because the Shield seem to be miles ahead in terms of quality than the other tag teams within the WWE. That's quite true. The Shield are, apart from maybe the Wyatt family, although I think the Shield make a better tag team than the Wyatt family. Personally, the Bray Wyatt is the centerpiece of that faction. You know, the Shield facing the New Age Outlaws, I don't think that's a bad thing. The New Age Outlaws picked them out because they wanted to face them and put them over potentially at WrestleMania. I don't think it's necessarily a bad match for the Shield. Is it the best thing they could have done for the Shield? Probably not. But it's still a good signature WrestleMania match for them, facing the New Age Outlaws and Kane.
The fact that the WWE killed the Usos versus the New Age Outlaws feud, the New Age Outlaws definitely still needed their WrestleMania moment somehow with their contract. Going against the Shield, though, when the Shield were teasing a breakup, reuniting, teasing a breakup, reuniting, whatever order they did it in, I guess there are fans that would have preferred to see the Shield go at it and then one of them comes out supreme. But I guess if they're going to branch one of these Shield members off and keep two together, I don't know how they're going to do it. This match would definitely push the Shield.
Super Steelers fan 100. If Triple H wins his match at WrestleMania, who gets the title? I don't think there's any way Triple H is going to win. There's no way he's walking out with the belt. Although this is Triple H we're talking about here. Does he need another WrestleMania moment? Of course, God thinks he does. I think if WrestleMania wins, if Triple H, WrestleMania wins, no doubt. But if Triple H wins his WrestleMania match, he's not winning the belt. No way. I don't think there's any doubt that Daniel Bryan is winning that match against Triple H. Although, what was the point of the match?
You know, it would be quite not
For
surprising.
you.
It would get a crowd reaction big time between Triple H and Daniel Bryan match, which will probably be early in the card.
I reckon it'll start the card. Give Daniel Bryan a chance to rest up for the main event.
It would be the way to go. But so if Daniel Bryan loses that match throughout the whole show, do we really think that Daniel Bryan is not going to be chanted, begged? Are the crowd going to be positive? So as much as Triple H going through 2 matches to become champion would be absolutely brilliant, I think obviously it's pointing in Daniel Bryan's direction to make you feel Daniel Bryan's going to make it to the main event. Then whatever happens.
How many times are we going to mention Daniel fucking Bryan in this damn Q&A? The Brony Assassin 167. No Daniel Bryan questions. What do you think will happen the night after WrestleMania? Do you know what? Maybe Batista or Daniel Bryan win the World Heavyweight Championship and Brock Lesnar comes out, potentially. You can just talk. You don't have to put your hand up. You're not in school. Sting is a good shout. Yeah, no, I've got to go with that one. Maybe they announce Sting versus Taker at next year's WrestleMania.
Even though it's a bit early, because we're expecting Brock Lesnar to hurt the Undertaker to give Taker that reason to stay off. Yep. So for Sting to come on Raw to want to face Taker, and Taker's probably not going to be there. I'd wonder how they're going to book it, but Sting is probably the next big name who can wrestle, because Hogan can't, but Sting still got the capability.
One more match.
So I do expect there to be a return, because compared to last year to now, they still want the Raw after WrestleMania to be blockbuster. So Sting coming out with all the old attire that makes him the Sting that we know, I think that would be great.
Also, who do you want to win the Battle Royal? I suppose before we answer that question, Raw after WrestleMania or WrestleMania, which do you think will be better? It will. The Raw after WrestleMania is always fucking better, isn't it? Probably because it's 1 hour less and it's only 3 hours and it's more bearable. Imagine we've got 6 hours for WrestleMania and 3 hours for Raw the next night. And if they do a live SmackDown, that's 2 hours. Oh, too much fucking wrestling. Also, who do you want to win the Battle Royal? I mean, I would like someone like Big E to win it, a younger guy, but I think the Big Show will win it, and I think that's a good idea because he's the guy that's most compared to Andre the Giant, and it's a nice WrestleMania moment for him before he eventually retires.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be against Big Show. Yes, he's the most obvious choice. Loads of fans are predicting it to be him. What I would love to see is for him to be eliminated first in the Battle Royal, to throw that prediction out people's heads, and the rest of the match, I think the Battle Royal, to have someone new crowned as the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner and have that on their application, their CV and stuff would be brilliant. I'm going to say Big E.
Big E's a good shout, maybe even Sheamus, just putting it out there. Do you think the Legends will make cameos? I mean, you've got the Hall of Fame there. I doubt many of the Legends will be making cameos, but you never know. You might have one in this Battle Royal.
That's what I was going to say, because we've got 2 or 3 participants. First, I swore last week's Raw, the commentators announced the Bull was going to be in this match.
Oh, El Torifo.
I swear the commentators last week announced that.
I heard RVD was going to be in it.
If that leaves probably one space. It'll either be Warrior, who I think still somewhat wrestle, and the other participant was... Who else is going to
We've got Jake the Snake in the Hall of Fame, but I doubt he will wrestle. Otherwise, he probably would have returned at the Royal Rumble. I don't think many Legends... I think this WrestleMania really needs to focus on the here and the now. Use the Legends. You can use a Hulk Hogan possibly in a segment, but let's have this WrestleMania be a signal of, let's use these Legends to make this future look bright for WWE. That's how I think, if they're going to include cameos from Legends, that's what it should be done to do.
As long as you don't use Piper. What the hell was that on Raw, for flip's sake, Piper?
I'm talking here! I'm talking here! Oh, God, he doesn't even sound Scottish anymore. Dolph Ziggler. Hello, Dolph.
Hello.
Are you going to be stealing the show at this year's WrestleMania? I doubt it. With the pre-show being 2 hours and the actual card being 4 hours, that means that WrestleMania will be on for a quarter of a day. Surely too much. Yes. I mean, I don't mind 4 hours of WrestleMania. You know, it's a big super card. You need 4 hours to make it feel special. It's more than just a wrestling card. It's an event. And, you know, the 1 hour pre-show would probably make sense too because, you know, it's the pre-show to the biggest event of the year for wrestling. But, yeah, thinking about it, a quarter of a day sitting there watching wrestling, I'm sorry, but that's 2 Raws. Ugh.
And Dolph Ziggler, you should have known this. After they've done the pre-show, after they've done WrestleMania, they're taking advantage of the arena and also doing Raw as well. So, wow, look at all that.
9 hours, buddy. JP Payne. Would you like for Brock Lesnar to have acknowledged Undertaker's age and maybe even for him to call him Mark Calloway and pretty much get away from the character to raise intrigue? I mean, they did go there with the age thing and that, you know, I think out of everything they've done with this storyline, that's probably one of the better things they've done. Make Undertaker look vulnerable. You know, generally you have to make the babyface look vulnerable and you have to try and make the Streak look vulnerable. And to have Undertaker, you know, and to have them saying Undertaker's old and he's aging is a way, you know, for people to think, oh, Brock Lesnar, you know, I'm probably not. I know Undertaker's going to win, but you never know because he's got a bit older.
I feel with Paul Heyman being the awesome heel manager and the greatest man on mic, I feel targeting whatever he can, the knowledge he knows, would get him over, make Taker look like he's being outdone by the heels. So I think they should target whatever they can.
Playlist Maker SG. Do you think they will ever? Do you think they should debut Alexander Rusev at WrestleMania? Unless he's going to be in that Battle Royal, no. He should really be safe for after WrestleMania, like they did for, like, you know, Ryback and Sin Cara and people like that.
I'm not interested in Rusev. I'm saying it straight.
But Rusev! Richard Collins, next question. With there being a fatal 4-way match for the tag team titles, do you think they should have put the Wyatts and the Brotherhood rather than Ryback and Los Matadores? Considering it's going to be a pre-show match, I think it was actually a good idea to put Ryback and Los Matadores in it because they're the kind of characters you'd expect on the pre-show. The Wyatts and the Brotherhood, I just would rather have on the actual WrestleMania card, even if it means being in a Battle Royal and the Wyatts being at ringside for Bray Wyatt's match.
I find this, like I said, I feel that the tag title match, one of your championship matches at a pre-show, they've done it in past WrestleManias, but I still think it's stupid. And they've used 2 tag teams who haven't really been on TV or look solid. It's just horrible. So I feel they could have used the more over tag teams to make the tag titles at least more entertaining.
Do you think they should put any of the NXT talent in the Battle Royal or the Divas match or a match on the pre-show? So there might be some in the Battle Royal. I'm not sure of all the people, but there is going to be Summer Rae and Emma in the Divas match, which I guess you could count as NXT because they've only just come out of NXT. But, you know, the time for NXT talent is not really going to be at the biggest event of the year. It's going to be, you know, after the biggest event of the year when the WrestleMania buzz has died down. Otherwise, they're just going to get lost in the shuffle. Otherwise, you know, the Shield. Imagine if the Shield debuted at WrestleMania. We would probably have forgotten about it because of all the fucking buzz surrounding WrestleMania that year.
I feel that is the case unless the NXT person was meant to win the Battle Royal. That's the only way he gets spotlighted. But I feel debuting is important in the WWE because it's the debut that wants to leave memories, good moments for that particular wrestler. So WrestleMania would be a hit, but like Mr. Parkin said, with all the bigger matches and with all the probably celebrities and stuff we're seeing, they'll be overshadowed in some way.
And look how it works for Fandango. That's all I will say. John Harris, do you see RVD returning at WrestleMania 30 in the Battle Royal, and who do you think will win the Battle Royal? I think RVD, there's a good chance of him returning in the Battle Royal. There's, 3 surprise entrants, like you said. He could be one of them. It would be a good time to bring an RVD back during after WrestleMania season when the Triple H's of the world, the Undertakers of the world, the Lesnars of the world probably won't be around for much longer in that sense after WrestleMania. As for who will win the Battle Royal, I think it'll be Big Show. I mean, that's just me.
RVD, again, his last one, yeah, it was because of his contract. He came and went, he's back again. I feel like RVD, as much as he's a name, he still gets people going. If he's not got a contract that's going to make him stay, then, to be honest, I don't think he should come back. As for the winner, Biggie would be my want, because I don't really want Big Show, because what's Big Show going to achieve from it?
To be honest, I think the amount of shit that Big Show has had at WrestleManias, it would just be a signature moment for a Big Show, especially with all the comparisons that are made between him and Andre the Giant. That's how I feel about it. Look at the shit Big Show has taken at WrestleMania. You know, the sumo match of Akabono, losing to fucking Floyd Mayweather. All that crap he's gone through, and he's finally going to get a standout moment. Which, let's face it, even though many people don't really rate the Big Show, he's a damn good worker and deserves a moment like this after all the years he's been in the business. The Nature Girl 30. Thank you, Nature Girl 30, for finally asking a question about fucking John Cena. Because I know that you don't like asking John Cena questions, but I'm really interested in the John Cena-Bray Wyatt match, and no one has asked questions about it. That shows you, in my opinion, you know, all you people out there that say WWE, it's all about John Cena, John Cena, John Cena. At WrestleMania 30, the John Cena match is in the fucking mid-card. So stop complaining about fucking John Cena. If Cena beats Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30, do you feel that Cena's win would affect the Braves family overall push in the WWE? No. I don't think it will. I think the Wyatt family's profile has been raised by being in this feud with John Cena. I think it would be good if Bray Wyatt won, but if John Cena wins, I won't be all that fussed about it. I mean, like I said, these kind of feuds, the babyface generally wins the feuds and ends the feud, but his profile would have been raised a lot thanks to John Cena, especially going into the biggest show of the year.
Even though this is the biggest pay-per-view of the year, so you want probably wrestlers to get their win at the big pay-per-view, I feel with heels, it doesn't always matter about the win. For example, Kane back in the Attitude Era, he wasn't always about the win. He was about just going up there and just hurting his opponent, destroying them and hurting them. Bray Wyatt has a similar kind of character where he's a heel. He just wants to hurt John Cena. I feel if he just went in there and it turned out to be a Bray Wyatt attack down on John Cena, maybe hinting an Extreme Rules match and move the story onto there, it would be totally fine.
I mean, you can have Bray Wyatt win at WrestleMania, John Cena win at Extreme Rules, do it like that. But I guess my main thing here is, you know, people think it will bury Bray Wyatt, but just look at how much Bray Wyatt's profile has raised from Survivor Series when he was facing, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan in a semi-main event match at the show, you know, which was decent, but, you know, it was a good showcase. But think how much his profile has raised since then. Now he's facing John Cena at WrestleMania. You know, his profile has gone up a lot. So even if he does lose, he's still going to be a big name in the WWE regardless for the future.
I will say one thing quickly about this is that going into the go-home show to WrestleMania, John Cena was actually starting to make Bray Wyatt look like the monster, and Bray Wyatt was looking like a beast. And the go-home show, John Cena, yes, he's got to look like he's Mr. Untouchable and all that. But when he said he's not scared, he's just going to go there and bring out the beast in John Cena, it kind of not undid it, but all the work they put into Bray Wyatt to break John Cena, to show fear, it was kind of disappointing. But when it comes to the actual match, I expect it to be lifted again.
Who do you see winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? We announced this. I mean, I think it's going to be Big Show. You think
Langston?
You would like Big E to win, but do you have full faith he will win? The next question is about Big E. So.
As long as Big Show gets person eliminated, which would be good. Because normally with the bigger guys,
everyone goes after him. So
I'm expecting probably him, Mark Henry, or Carly to be early eliminated, leaving. Hopefully, Langston in the final.
With Big E entered and being the current IC champion, do you feel that his win would bring more honor and prestige to the IC title? Yeah, I think it would, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, with Big Show becoming, getting on his last years, it would be a good moment for him. And I think Big E Langston will have plenty of moments to solidify himself later on in his career.
I think Langston, being the IC champion right now, I feel having all the matches he's had before WrestleMania, having the Andre the Giant would spotlight him. He won, that guy there, the IC champion, won. He beat 29 other men, and he's our IC champion. I think it would be brilliant.
Be a good way of putting him over. I will admit that. One of the bigger matches at WrestleMania, and your IC champion is winning it. It would be a great way to put him over. Won't happen, but it would have been a good way to put him over. With Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker having similar MMA backgrounds, do you feel that this street match will be more brutal than Taker's match with Triple H at WrestleMania 27? And if so, do you see Taker losing? Now, the thing I want to bring up here is generally, the great thing about Brock Lesnar matches is, I mean, you can back me up on this one. They feel different. Like, remember the match with John Cena at WrestleMania at Extreme Rules? That felt different. Every single Brock Lesnar match that he's been in, he's worked a kind of MMA/wrestling style, and it's just felt ridiculously different. And will this streak match be a bit more brutal? It will probably have to be. You know, Taker may get hurt a little bit from this because Brock Lesnar works a pretty stiff style that looks kind of real because of his MMA background. So will that prove a different challenge from at WrestleMania? Yes, but it doesn't mean that Taker will be losing.
I look at this match and I feel that there is so much risk going into this match, hence why Taker's probably having to take time out to get himself ready for this. Brock Lesnar, even though he's been taking time out too, he's still a very heavy wrestler that you have to watch out for. So I'll be wondering when Brock locks in his arm lock thing,
Kimura,
and how well they're going to bring each other's abilities to cope with the match and as well protect each other, how they're going to do it. So this match is interesting, but I still don't see Brock being the one who's going to be leaving in a year to be the one to walk away with Taker's streak.
No.
No.
It won't happen. And the final question, and a good way to end this Q&A, it's been going on for 36 minutes now, I'm actually quite tired. Stacey Wicks, will you be reviewing WrestleMania together? You know, likelihood is we will because it's the biggest show of the year. But at the end of the day, it just depends on how I feel, whether I feel like watching a show for 4 hours or not. But the likelihood is that we will be because it's WrestleMania and that's kind of what we do every year. So,
and that's the thing, because with me, I love interacting with you guys, and a lot of you have been with us since we were British Fist, you know. So for us to review the biggest pay-per-view of the year, and yes, going back in the days where we did live reactions to pay-per-views and the comedy thing. So I'm hoping, this year's WrestleMania to be the British Fist together to bring our views and opinions to you guys.
Plus, it will be somewhat of an attraction as we don't do many videos together. So people will hopefully like it. You know, it'll be more of an attraction. People will it'll hopefully feel more special if we do a review of it together rather than doing like when we used to do reviews all the time together. But anyway, if you have any questions, as this is the end of this WrestleMania theme Q&A, remember next week is going to be the WrestleMania general Q&As question. We got questions on there like best and worst WrestleMania, favorite WrestleMania moment, etc. We're going to be doing that after WrestleMania, just in case WrestleMania 30 gives us moments like that, or that ends up on the top 5 worst or best or something. So if you have any questions for that, don't submit them, because we would have recorded the video already, and if you do ask questions, they'll just be added to our normal Q&A, which will be done the week following after the next week. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. It went for fucking nearly 38 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this WrestleMania themed Q&A. Make sure you tune in next week, and then, you know, make sure also WrestleMania preview on Friday and all the normal videos, and WrestleMania on Sunday.
I seriously want to encourage you guys to send in as many questions you can. Bring us to so many questions so we can continue doing this for you. This is as close as we're going to get to an hour today, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy WrestleMania and our predictions. Until next time, YouTubers, run.